be tying this week's fly is the Garry, is it?
It's the Garry. It's you, boy.
yeah, with 2 irons this one. So again, we'll run through the materials, see that everybody can do a little checklist, make sure they got it. So the materials for this fly are, the hook is a number 2 uphide salmon. The thread is white 3/0 monocord, black 6/0 monocord. The tag is fine oval silver tinsel and gold and yellow floss. The tail is gold and pheasant crest and red hackle fibers. The ribs are oval silver tinsel. The body is black floss. The throat is blue-dyed guinea or grizzly hackle. The wing is red-dyed bucktail with yellow bucktail, and the head is black. So hopefully you guys got all those materials, and we'll get into it. So can you tell me a little about this particular fly lab before we...
Actually, it's a British pattern. One of the few hair-wing patterns that really have gained notoriety on this side of the pond. You can see there's elements of almost like a blue charm and the Mickey fin, which is a trout streamer, right? The Mickey fin is a yellow and red wing, bucktail wing. But I can also see some similarities to thunder and lightning there.
I think it's one of the most colorful flies I've seen so far in this series, for sure. It's a lot of color involved in that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can get started and see how it goes from there. Teach me.
Okay, teach it. I'll show you. Okay, again, we're going to use 3/0 monocord, and we're going to attach that halfway between the return loop, end of the return loop, and the bottom of the eye. Right? That's pretty well standard. And
I'll probably... sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll probably even have that memorized before...
yeah. Okay, I'm going to back off on a couple of reps. Okay, just past the return loop, just where it ends, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my tag material, which is all fine oval silver tinsel, right in behind, right? And what that does is it compensates for the sharp ending of the return loop.
Just fine oval silver tinsel. Now, most of the flies we've been tying is fine tinsel, but there are flies that we use something a little heavier, is that?
Yeah, some. Actually, I'm using right here, I've listed in the dressing fine oval. I've got extra fine oval here. I use extra fine on a lot, but you can use fine and get away with it.
Your own personal choice.
Personal preference, and a lot of the flies use flat silver tinsel or gold tinsel.
A lot of times that's all you get in your tackle box.
Yeah.
You make do.
Oh, yeah, that's how patterns are devised. You know, a lot of new patterns are devised because, well, a pattern calls for black floss and somebody doesn't have a bit of black floss or whatever. So what they do is they put substitute green or whatever and come up with a new pattern. It's nothing to come up with a new pattern, but it's something to come up with a pattern that
works.
That really works well.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
Okay, now I'll come back to the standard position of halfway between the point and the barb, right?
Yep.
Now, on the old English flies, they would come back to at least the barb, and more often, even down further in the bend.
Really?
But we've found that, you know, if you dress and fish your flies consistently with materials hanging outside the bend, you're going to get a lot of short straight salmon will just nip the fly.
Okay, going after the material.
Exactly. So we shorten up. I usually start either right here or up to the point. And on the low water flies, that's on standard flies, and on the low water flies, I'll go up to a third of the shank, or 2/3 of the shank, or even half.
Wow. A lot of hook then.
Yeah, a lot of hooks. So if he goes for the fly at all, he's gonna feel the steel, right?
You'll feel the reel.
Yes, I guess so. Hopefully. Okay, now what I'm going to do here now is put a little Dave's Flex cement on the rear portion of the thread that we're going to lay the oval tinsel over. Now where that's extra fine oval, I made 6 turns. If it's fine oval, make 4.
Okay, so you're going for a certain build-up, basically.
Yeah. And it's hard to relate this to our viewers and to yourself because, like, my measurements are based on that measurement right there. The tag is going to occupy that percentage of the barb and the point, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Up right here. And actually, where I've gone up a little further of the shank, I don't want to use that full measurement. So it's something in my mind's eye that looks good to me now, you know?
Okay. Again,
it only comes from experience, right?
Yeah. So most people, time flies, will have their own little...
Oh, yes, yeah. Okay, we're going to tie in. Well, actually, I'm going to bring my thread up a little further now. start that right here. Now I tied it in with 3 turns right on top of each other, and I extended the waste material up the hook check, right? I'm going to lay down some days flex cement again and wrap that back in nice smooth turns. Now you can see that the glue itself is bleeding up through the through the floss on the first layer, which is good because then you know that will adhere to the floss, right? And it'll keep it nice and firm. 1, 2, 3. I tied it in with 3 turns, and I'll undo 3 turns. That reduces bulk. Additional wraps in one spot don't make for a secure fly. It just adds bulk.
Yeah, okay, yeah. See what you mean.
Yeah. Now, you've never tied a fly before, have you?
No, sir, I've never tied a fly, and I probably will make an attempt at it because I'm always interested in it, but, you know, right? Unless you go by the book or something like that, because although, like I said, years ago, Dad did tie some flies, but I was too little in to be into it.
Yeah. And like I say, you know, I've said that before, it's hard to learn from a book unless you know some basics, you know?
Yeah, I bet, yeah. No doubt.
Okay, I've just stripped the fuzz off 2 golden pheasant crest fibers right there. And this guy got to go to the men's hair care club, is it?
Well, you got to go somewhere.
He's starting to get pretty ready there.
Yeah. Somewhere hard to get, or
no,
getting pretty scarce there now, eh?
Yeah. So I made 2. I took two fibers, which are going to be my tail.
Yeah.
And laid it on top. Now I want to go outside the bend, right? I want to keep all my materials inside of the bend to reduce short strikes.
Yeah. Okay.
You might see a bit of separation there. That means I haven't got it tied in right. Now, some people dip it in the water and this, that, and everything else.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick together. You got to lick them.
Can't beat that saliva.
No. 2 turns right on top of each other. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. No, it's not.
You don't like that?
No, she's starting to split on it. What happened is I didn't have the fibers right on top of each other, right?
And which spreads them out if you don't, I guess.
Yeah. Now, people will say, you know, my God, he's having an awful lot of trouble with that fly.
I was going to say that myself.
Yeah, well, you know, not every time you do it does it work out right, but the thing is, only go over the fly. If I'm not pleased with the step, I'll redo it, right?
Yeah. Where a lot of people would, and I think I would be one of them after the second try or something. Well, that's pretty good. That's not so bad after all. That's probably would make my fly not quite so good as some others.
That's the difference between a good fly tyer and just a mediocre one.
Yeah.
You know that. It's like anything else.
How serious you take it, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, now I got the tail in there now. The dressing materials are listed red hackle fibers, and that's fine. But I've found a new material, and it's called synthetic living fiber, and it's made over in England. Mm-hmm. It's handmade. I don't know how they hand make it, but it's a synthetic. And the reason why I prefer this over, let's say, like red hackle fiber, is because it's so sparkly, right?
Yeah.
You can see the translucence and the sparkle of this fly, or this fiber actually. So what I'll do is I'll just pick a bit out and even it up, and I'll substitute that for the hackle fibers.
So you stumble onto that, or somebody?
No, I got talking to a gentleman over in England, and he said this was a new material he had devised, and his name was Davy Walton.
Yeah.
So I said I'll try some, and I'll tell you right now it's the best, one of the best new materials on the market. And you can get it in hanks like this right here, or in dubbing fur, which we've been using as a substitute for seal fur, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, now, we've got that tied in. Now, I'm not going to let this extend all the way up. I'm just going to cut this down a little bit halfway. Now, so we've got the tag, which consists of tinsel and flies. We've got the tail, which is golden pheasant crest, and that's veiled with that SLF, synthetic living fiber.
Okay, I got to ask you right there, what do we mean when we're saying veiled?
Well, just, it's not a full tail, like if it was, say, if all this rib was extending right up to the end of the tail, it would be, like I say, the tail is golden pheasant crest and red hackle fibers or SLF. but it's only veiling the bottom portion.
Okay, yeah, okay. There's a turn.
A new turn. Okay, now we're going to do this here again. We're just going to expose the core of this tinsel. That reduces bulk. Here we go. And we'll just slip that up. So just where the tinsel and the thread meet, right? And we'll wrap that back, or forward, excuse me, in nice, close, even turns. Now, materials are starting to rotate away from me because I'm wrapping it. Wrapping forward, right? So you just get them back up on the shank.
All right. So a steady hand kind of helps with this too.
Oh yeah, but you know what? The more you practice,
the
steadier you get. Oh sure. Okay, I've got some of these black silk flaps here.
The flask consists of a lot of fiber,
yeah, 6 strands.
Strands, okay.
Yeah, this particular stuff right here, yes, yeah. And this is silk flask. Silk is the best to get. It makes the smoothest bodies. And you just can't get it with rayon, I don't find, as well. I mean, if you got good rayon, you can. But it seems like the rayon flosses that I've encountered here aren't that good, you know.
Smooth as silk.
Smooth as silk, that's what they call it, smooth as silk. Okay, I'm going to whip off this white thread. I got my underbody completed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you saw that I extended all the waste materials forward to the return loop to fill in the gap, right?
Yep.
So I'll just turn it over. That's not too bad. I mean, you can still see a bit of a bulge here, but this is a standard hook, which is a fairly big hook, so. But if I hadn't compensated for it at all, it would have been a really big bump, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, the next material, or the next procedure is to tie in our black thread, which is going to be our head thread, right? And that's 6/0 Flymaster. Flymaster is the best thread on the go for small flies.
Flymaster being the brand name, you mean?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's a model. Okay. It's a monocord, but it's 6/0 Flymaster, they call it. Now, Danville's 6/0 Flymaster. Okay, now we're going to wrap forward. What we're going to do is we're going to build the tapers. It's a little slimmer at the rear and thicker at the front. If you look at a lot of insects, and these are what flies are based on, even salmon flies, insects are mostly slim in the rear and a little heavier up in the shoulder. Would you agree?
I can attest to that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, there are some species and some families of insects that go against that. I mean, they're roundish or whatever like that, but stream insects that like stoneflies, caddis flies, mayfly nymphs, all are slim at the rear. Dragonfly, yeah.
Actually, maybe we get an opportunity to tip over a few rocks and show the viewer some of those.
Sure will.
Some of those nymphs, because they're fairly easy and fairly common to find.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing. I'm going to back up on that. I'm going to stick it up right here a little bit. Although that's not going to be seen very well, because it's going to be buried by the wing itself and the hackle. I just like to do as good a job as I can on it, right? There. Okay, and now what I'll do next is I'll wrap my rib material, which is going to be 5 turns. We'll tie that off. And clip that out.
Okay, starting to come together now.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Rob, how about we'll finish up the spine?
Okay, we got 2 sections in a wing. Now, normally what people do here is they turn their fly upside down, strip off some hackle, and lay it in, and then they put their wing in after. On bi-segmented wings, what I do is I lay the first section of wing down first, which is going to be red in this case. Is that right? Yeah. Red bucktail. And then I collar my hackle and pull it down. and then up on the yellow section. See, what happens there, Gary, is that it reduces the head size.
Okay.
If I had all that ahead of the hackle, it's going to bulk up the head, right? So what I'll do here is I got to hand stack this a little bit. Bucktail doesn't straighten up very well in the hair stacker, unless it's fairly straight to begin with, or fairly even to begin with, right?
Okay.
Because there's a little bit of a crinkly hair.
So it's a little too soft, you mean, to...
Yeah, just like all the crinkles interlock and whatever, you know?
Okay.
So we're almost there now.
You're just kind of pulling out the longer ones here.
Pulling out the longer ones, setting them back in. Okay, what I'll do there now is I'll put this in my waist troll.
The old trusty stacker.
Yep. Now, that's the first section all evened up. And I'll lay that right in there right away. Lay some cement down. Put that right back to the end of the tail.
Okay. And trim it before you put it on, eh?
Yeah. Like I say, I measure it, right?
Could you trim it after it was on? Or?
Yeah, but it doesn't make it as nice a head.
Okay. Okay, you can't get at it as well.
No. So I'll take it in half. 1, 2. I mean, 4 turns there, right?
Okay.
That's looking good.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to double this hackle. Now, Blue Guinea is a substitute for European jay, which is like our common blue jay.
Okay.
And I don't find Blue Guinea is a very good substitute because it's a spotted feather, and jay is a striped feather like I've got here. That's grizzly hen hackle dyed blue.
Okay.
And I think that's a much better substitute for European jay, which is found on flies such as the Thunder and Lightning used European jay.
Okay. Most viewers are familiar with that fly.
Yep. So what we'll do is we'll just light it up. Tie them at 5 or 6 turns.
Mm-hmm. Turn that off.
Turn it off. And we'll wrap this around a couple of times. Actually, about 4 or 5 times.
Starting to get colorful there now.
Yep. Tie it off at 2 or 3 turns.
Snip that out of your way in the waist.
You gotta cover up the excess fibers, and I'll make 2 or 3 extra turns. And pull it down. I'll strip off some of these fibers on top. They're a little bit thick. Right back on it. Now you can see that I've got the hair is beyond the hackle, right? That's right. And this final one.
Okay, the little yellow.
Now this one is gonna even up a little bit better than the previous bunch because it's not as tangled as the red.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that actually. That's a wrinkle, we'll say.
Yeah, crinkly.
Crinkly, that's a good word.
Yeah, I'll get that right up there over like that. And we'll cut those fibers.
A little bit of cement.
Yep. And I'll take that in half again. I'll wrap over that butt section a couple of times, right back and forth. And it looks pretty good.
Looking good.
And we'll finish that off. And that's the Garry.
Okay. Well, we got one good-looking Garry here for sure. No, that's good. Yeah, that was a nice looking fly. Look forward to trying that one.
Yep.
Okay, we're moving right along. I guess the time's getting a little bit short, so that brings us to our photo snapshot contest, I like to call it. Again, we're early in the season, so we don't have a lot of viewer mail in because of the pre-taping of the shows, as I mentioned last week. But in this case, we do have something. We have a bit of videotape given to us by a gentleman by the name of Doug Kendrick at Cornbrook Pulp and Paper. He was kind enough to send it over. It's from a guy, a reporter in England, Rob,
yes.
Eric Blakely, who works for the TV station over there, and he sent it over wondering if somebody could identify some of the areas and maybe even some of the people in this particular video. I think you'll find it quite interesting. It's back, I'm not sure when it was, back in the 30s?
Back in the 30s.
Somewhere around there. So maybe viewers will roll that and you guys have a look at it. And meanwhile, we'll comment as it goes through. Okay.
That looks like Francis, the top of Francis Pool right there. That flow, where it's flowing there.
Where, Harry's River, you mean?
Harry's River, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know who that gentleman is.
Twisting on a fly. Maybe some people might be able to
Look at his
identify
leader there. Look at
wow.
all that's Spanish gut.
Wow, that's pretty heavy stuff, eh?
Two-handed rods.
Two-handed rods, yeah, I know.
We gave up on the two-handed rods years ago. Now that's Francis again, two-handed rods years ago, but there's been a resurgence of that rod.
Kind of jigging the fly there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Look, even that pole is busy. Back it in.
Sure.
I guess these guys were in by train or something there if it's Harry's River, more than likely.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. Again,
that's Harry's River. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Eh?
Boy, that's really long fishing rods, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That stuff, eh?
They were anywhere from 13 to 19 feet long.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to try something like that. Here we go.
Yeah.
Except they got a couple of small grills.
Small grills. What do y'all tell you? Even back then they had small grills.
Good in the pan, don't they, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, somebody else got one on here. Just lots of action on that rod.
Oh.
Yeah. There we go.
Now this guy's in the hook and release. What? I do. Hook 'em in the belly and release them back in the dollars.
Back in the frying pan. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not to get on them because it was on.
Certainly, that was well accepted. And no big deal at all, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, these guys, two hands hanging out there. So maybe, again, viewers, have a look at some of these people. Maybe you can identify them. And we're guessing ourselves that it's Harry's River, and I think Robbie could be right on that, certainly.
Yeah. Francis Pool, guaranteed.
Yeah, okay. So some of the people that's real familiar with that area can another one.
Yeah.
So again, this is some great footage. So again, I thank Doug Kendrick over at Cornbrook Pulp and Paper.